Hi everyone, my name is Megan and I'm an educator here at the Bruce Museum. Today I am bringing to you a special program for our Digital Family Day, Floating with the Bruce. And today we're going to explore the print Hokusai's Great Wave. So a little bit of context before we get into the activity. Floating Beauty, the exhibition I'm currently in, that you can come and explore this weekend if you would like, explores women in the art of ukiyo-e. It looks at historical perspectives of women and their depictions in the art from the Edo period Japan. Made up entirely of woodblock prints, created in the ukiyo-e style, this exhibition highlights the female characters in literature, kabuki theater, poetry, the courtesans and geishas of the Yoshiwara district, wives and mothers from different social classes performing the duties of their everyday life, and gives you insight to these women in a pre-modern Japan. However, this exhibition has several other types of prints that you can see, and one of which is The Great Wave by Hokusai. This is one version of the print, and it was developed by the artist Hokusai, and this was the third version that was created. So today I thought it would be really fun to read a book all about the Great Wave. While we can look at it and make up different stories about the print, I thought it would be fun to read a story. So like I said, we're going to be exploring Hokusai's Great Wave through a story, and much like all these prints, they share those different stories. And just a little more background information about this print. This would have been a print featured to highlight different travels and important places to see throughout Japan. This piece features Hokusai's Great Wave, which is shown off the distance of the coast in Japan, and it would have been a part of a 36 print series, and this is just one of them. But this print was so popular, it was made a dozen times. And one way we can highlight the importance and how we know this is a different set of prints is because of the color. So our print is inked in blue, which was important because that lets us know when this print was made and what group it was a part of. So today we're gonna read a book to help highlight and explore Hokusai's Great Wave for an activity. So this is a book for older children, but you're more than welcome to join if you're younger. And the book is The Great Wave, and it's inspired by Hokusai's print, as we can see. And it's by Veronique Massonnet and Bruno Pilogret. The Great Wave. Akai and Taro were childless. The summer of their lives was nearing an end. But they had neither a boy nor a girl to give them joy. The couple had waited very long, and they had tried everything they knew to have a child. They had eaten countless herbs and special foods. They had prayed fervently and given offerings in the temple. At last, they felt their hope was gone. The child they had so desired did not come. There were many nights of tears and sorrow, but suddenly, a miracle. It happened on an icy day in winter. The wind raged over the sea and threw mighty waves upon the land. But the men of the village still had to go out to catch a fish, for winter was the season of hunger, and no fish meant even less to eat. 3 long ships set out from the harbor. Together they fought the stormy surf. ascending waves after waves to the crests and falling back again into their throes. The men advanced in this way, wave upon wave, waiting for the right moment. They had fish to catch, whatever the cost. You can see Mount Fuji much more prominently on this page compared to the print. Then, just as they prepared to throw out their nets, an enormous wave rose up in front of them. It rose like a gigantic creature, opening its foamy mouth, greedily swallowing up everything before it. Fishermen, nets, boats, everything. The men held their breath in fear, clinging to the ships and ducking down. Some even closed their eyes. Does this look familiar to you? Did you see that in the print? When they looked out again, the wave had broken. The brave fishing group had been spared. Soon the sea became as calm as the men's silent relief. But this was quiet and penetrated by a small angry Kai, and Taro was heard to shout, "Look, that wet bundle there is a child, a brand new life. The wave has set it down on our boat." Taro's heart beat more wildly than all the drums of the world together. He took the baby boy in his arms, and the crying child fell silent. Taro smiled. The child so long awaited and so long hoped for had arrived at last. The happy years passed. Nikoi, the boy from the sea, had a mighty appetite. He ate bowl after bowl of delicious rice, yet he did not grow any bigger. Now his 7th birthday was drawing near, and he'd barely grown an inch. Akai was worried. Would he always stay so small? And Taro often thought, how could he ever become a proper fisherman? But the wise parents had come to know patience. Maybe their child did not want to grow. Maybe they only had to wait a little longer. Wasn't it a great joy just to hold such a tiny life in their arms? I wonder why he won't grow. Let's see what happens. Nikoi waited to grow as well, while all his friends shot upwards faster than bamboo. The boy often sat on the trunk of an old pine tree that stretched its branches out over the water. As he sat, Nikoi's thoughts drifted across the sea, coming and going like the water's ebbs and flow. The thoughts tormented him with hundreds of questions. Why am I not like the other children? Why did I not come from my mother? Did a woman of a mysterious wave bring me into this world? Who is my real father? Who is my mother? Whom should I truly love? Do you think he came from the wave? One day, he was sitting on his tree trunk, and Nikoi spied a beautiful fish beneath him. Its scales shimmered like silver, and it swam back and forth excitedly, as if wanting to speak. The boy leaned down, and the fish smiled at him. He leaned down further, and the fish called out his name. Then Nikoi leaned as far as he could, and he fell headfirst into the sea. Under the water, the fish seemed enormous. Its impressive whiskers were curly and black, its voice rich and strong. "Hello, little man. Come with me. I know who can answer your questions." Nikoi swam behind him as if he too had fins. As the boy and the fish got further from shore, their surroundings changed. The water became darker and colder, and the current stronger and stronger. Nikoi clung tightly to his friends just to keep going. "I thought everything was nice and calm under the sea," the boy said to himself. "I thought you could collect coral, hide among the water lilies, play with starfish, and find lost treasure." But the silent fish could not hear Nikoi's thoughts, and the two dived deeper and deeper into the dark underwater. Then, without warning, they plunged into a whirlpool, and Nikoi was seized with panic. With all of his might, the boy pulled at the fins of his scaly companion. The fish reared up and swam more slowly, at last coming to a stop. "Where are you bringing me? I don't want to go further. I'm cold and I'm scared. Please turn around. My parents might be worried. I want to go back to them, and quickly." At these words, the animal's silver scales trembled and shone with joy. The back of the fish lengthened and began to move like a wave. Its body became larger and larger, spouting mighty feet with sharp golden claws. From its fins, the fish had turned into a dragon. "Hold on tight," the dragon roared. With a single blow of its tail, the dragon thrust itself out of the ocean, flew over the volcano, and placed the boy gently upon his dearly loved beach. "Goodbye, my friend," he said from a cloud above the sea. "Go now, you no longer need me." Nikoi did not speak. As soon as he felt the sand beneath his feet, he began to run. The happy boy ran and ran all the way to his parents' house. When he finally reached home, Nikoi turned around to thank his noble friend. But the dragon was gone. The sea was as smooth as glass, as if nothing happened. Now it's spring. Today is Koinobori, a children's festival. 1,001 carpfish float in the wind, and their bodies made of humble cloth. Nikoi looks proudly at his fluttering streamer. It swims in the wind side by side with those of Taro, his father, and Aki, his mother. All three seem carried by a great wave filled with love. Joyful laughter is everywhere for Nikoi, has grown bigger. Do you see Mount Fuji in the background still? The end. And here we go. Here's the great wave in the actual print. As we saw in the book, the great wave is featured throughout that story, even though it's not real. But that story uses a lot of the things in the print that we saw. The fisherman on the boat, Mount Fuji in the background, the wave crashing forward, and probably different animals you would have seen in the water. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, it references a lot of different things about Japanese culture that these prints show you. Pause this video, talk with your adult about some of those things you saw in the book that you probably have seen in the print, and discuss those differences. What's different about the story? What's different about the print? And make your own story up like we saw in the book. Maybe your story is a little bit different. Maybe your story doesn't feature dragons. Create your own story, and you're welcome to share it with the Bruce Museum. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for joining us for our Family Day, Floating with the Bruce. If you want to visit the museum, please come and visit. And if you visit later this week, there is a discount code, Fall Family Day, that you can use to visit the museum at a discount. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the story. Bye, friends.